General Suharto. General Suharto seized power in Indonesia in 1966, beginning history's most financially corrupt regime. Over 32 years, he systematically plundered Indonesia's vast natural resources through Bapakism, a patronage system where his family looted the country. Wife Tien, known as Madame 10%, demanded her cut from every major business deal. The family controlled timber concessions and banking licenses, with each contract requiring kickbacks. Son Tommy monopolized the National Car Project, receiving billions in subsidies. Daughter Tutut dominated toll roads while other children carved up telecommunications empires. They used charitable foundations to funnel state money into personal accounts. When the Asian financial crisis hit in 1997, Indonesia's economy collapsed under decades of corruption. Mass protests erupted as ordinary Indonesians, suffering under authoritarian rule while watching the Suharto family live in obscene luxury, finally rose up. Suharto was forced to resign in May 1998. Transparency International estimated the family stole $15 to $35 billion, making him the most corrupt leader in world history. Most stolen wealth was never recovered, and Suharto died without accountability. Mobutu Sese Seko. Colonel Mobutu seized Congo through a CIA-backed coup in 1965, transforming Africa's richest country into his personal piggy bank. Renaming himself Mobutu Sese Seko, he systematically looted mineral wealth, particularly copper and diamonds. His personal fortune peaked at $4 billion, while average Congolese survived on less than $1 daily. His extravagance knew no bounds: fleets of Mercedes vehicles, multiple European palaces, and a private Boeing 707 for Paris shopping trips. His jungle palace in Gabadalite cost $100 million, featuring an airport for Concorde jets to fly in champagne and luxury goods. He hosted lavish parties with international celebrities while his people lacked basic necessities. Mobutu deliberately weakened military, education, and civil services to prevent challenges. State salaries went unpaid for months, forcing officials into bribery just to survive. By the 1990s, Congo's infrastructure had completely collapsed. Roads crumbled, hospitals closed, schools shut down. The economy shrank dramatically as his kleptocracy sucked life from the nation. When rebels overthrew him in 1997, Mobutu fled to Morocco, dying in exile 4 months later. Ferdinand Marcos. Martial law arrived when Ferdinand Marcos suspended the constitution in 1972, beginning 14 years of systematic treasury looting. Using communist insurgency as pretext, Marcos eliminated opposition, while he and wife Imelda embarked on unprecedented stealing. They established dummy corporations, moving billions through Swiss accounts and international real estate. Imelda's extravagance became legendary: over 3,000 pairs of shoes, constant shopping sprees, lavish parties while Filipinos struggled with poverty. The couple built multiple palaces and accumulated priceless art collections. Marcos' cronies received exclusive agricultural export rights, sharing profits with the first family. Government banks became personal ATMs, with billions loaned to shell companies that never repaid. State enterprises were systematically looted. By the early 1980s, the Philippines was drowning in debt, much borrowed and stolen rather than invested. The economy stagnated while unemployment soared. The 1983 assassination of opposition leader Benigno Aquino Jr. sparked massive protests. The People Power Revolution forced the Marcos family to flee to Hawaii in February 1986. Investigations revealed they had stolen $5 to $10 billion. Despite decades of legal efforts, much stolen wealth remains unrecovered. Sani Abacha. 5 years was all General Sani Abacha needed to establish one of Africa's most destructive kleptocracies after seizing power in 1993. His corruption shocked even Nigerians accustomed to government theft. Abacha directly diverted oil revenues through offshore accounts, routing Nigeria's petroleum income into personal accounts in Switzerland and Luxembourg. Oil contracts required kickbacks, customs duties were skimmed, government contracts inflated. Wife Mariam and children established front companies receiving no-bid contracts worth hundreds of millions. The family owned multiple mansions, luxury cars, and private jets, while most Nigerians survived on less than $2 daily. Abacha systematically weakened institutions, purging military rivals, rigging elections, buying loyalty. The regime became increasingly violent, culminating in the 1995 execution of environmental activist Ken Saro-Wiwa, bringing international condemnation. Abacha's rule ended abruptly when he died of a heart attack in June 1998, reportedly while entertaining prostitutes. His sudden death prevented plans to transition to elected president through rigged elections. Investigations revealed he had stolen $3 to $5 billion hidden in foreign accounts. Nigeria spent years recovering stolen funds, with only fractions returned. Viktor Yanukovych. The pro-Russian politician returned to power when Viktor Yanukovych became Ukraine's president in 2010 after surviving the Orange Revolution. His 4-year reign established kleptocracy that systematically looted Ukraine's economy while serving Moscow's interests. The family, loyalists from his Donetsk region, captured Ukraine's most lucrative industries. Son Alexander, despite being a dentist, mysteriously became one of Ukraine's richest men through government connections. The regime controlled energy imports, customs, major infrastructure, skimming profits everywhere. Yanukovych's residence, Mezhihiria, was transformed into a $100 million palace featuring golden toilets, private zoo, golf course, and replica Spanish galleons. The estate showcased his disconnection from ordinary Ukrainians while costing taxpayers enormous sums. His corruption was inseparable from subservience to Putin's Russia. He abandoned European integration, signing agreements increasing Russian control. His November 2013 decision to suspend EU preparations triggered Euromaidan protests. The regime's violent response revealed corruption's depth, deploying snipers who killed over 100 protesters. Yanukovych fled to Russia in February 2014 as his government collapsed. Documents revealed staggering theft, receipts for golden toilet brushes, exotic animals, systematic embezzlement totaling billions. Ukraine estimated his regime stole over $40 billion. Benjamin Netanyahu. Multiple corruption investigations plague Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's longest-serving prime minister, who has weaponized his office for personal gain while orchestrating brutal military campaigns that have killed tens of thousands of civilians. Cases 1,000, 2,000, and 4,000 revealed systematic approaches to leveraging public office for luxury and power. The gifts affair exposed how Netanyahu and wife Sarah accepted hundreds of thousands in cigars, champagne, and jewelry from billionaires who received favorable government treatment. His obsession with media manipulation led to secret deals with publishers, offering to weaken rival outlets in exchange for positive coverage. Case 4000 revealed how he granted regulatory favors worth hundreds of millions to telecommunications mogul Shaul Elovich for favorable news coverage. Sarah Netanyahu faced criminal charges for fraudulently obtaining $100,000 in catering services, lying about having a cook to justify expensive taxpayer-funded restaurant meals. Netanyahu's November 2019 indictment on bribery, fraud, and breach of trust made him the first sitting Israeli prime minister facing criminal charges. His corruption trial began in 2020 while simultaneously serving as prime minister, creating constitutional crisis. Even while facing these charges, Netanyahu has overseen military operations in Gaza that have resulted in unprecedented civilian casualties, using the chaos of war to deflect from his legal troubles and maintain power at any cost. Slobodan Milosevic. Ethnic nationalism became Slobodan Milosevic's path to power and personal enrichment after his infamous 1989 Kosovo speech. His decade-long rule devastated the Balkans through systematic corruption funding wars and wealth accumulation. He used state-controlled banks to fund paramilitary groups and political allies while skimming enormous profits. The regime established shadow economy based on sanctions busting, arms trafficking, and criminal enterprises generating billions in black market revenues. Wife Mirjana controlled much corruption through her Yugoslav Left Party, manipulating privatization processes and using academic positions for influence. Son Marco became wealthy through ventures clearly benefiting from political protection. During the 1990s wars and sanctions, while ordinary Serbs suffered hyperinflation and economic collapse, the ruling elite lived luxuriously. State enterprises were systematically looted to fund political and military activities. Oil imports, media companies, and industrial assets were controlled by loyalists sharing profits with the first family. The regime profited from humanitarian aid, diverting refugee supplies to black markets. Milosevic maintained relationships with figures like Gaddafi and Russian oligarchs, using connections to circumvent sanctions. The regime collapsed in October 2000 following massive protests after he attempted stealing elections. He was extradited to The Hague in 2001, but died in prison in 2006 before trial completion. Silvio Berlusconi. Media mogul. Silvio Berlusconi entered politics in 1994 for self-preservation, as his Mediaset empire faced legal troubles that political immunity could resolve. His 3-decade career was marked by constant corruption scandals and systematic use of public office protecting his business empire. Owning Italy's 3 main commercial networks while serving as prime minister, he wielded enormous influence protecting business interests. His legal troubles included tax fraud, embezzlement, bribery, and abuse of office, resulting in dozens of trials. His legendary Bunga Bunga parties, featuring young women, prostitutes, and drugs, became international symbols of decadent power abuse. He was convicted of paying for underage sex, though later overturned. His business empire was built on systematic corruption, including mafia connections and tax evasion schemes. Companies routinely inflated costs, created shell companies, and used complex structures avoiding taxes. As prime minister, he passed laws directly benefiting his businesses, including media regulations and tax amnesty programs, saving hundreds of millions. His justice system influence was most damaging. He repeatedly attempted laws granting prosecution immunity, decriminalizing offenses, or reducing statute limitations. He publicly attacked prosecutors, undermining legal institutions. Despite numerous convictions, Berlusconi remained dominant until his 2023 death, serving 9 years as prime minister across 4 governments. Carlos Salinas de Gortari. Harvard-educated Carlos Salinas became Mexico's president in 1988, following a controversial election many believed he stole. His administration modernized Mexico's economy while establishing new corruption levels. His corruption was most evident in massive privatization programs, transferring state enterprises at below-market prices to political allies. Telmex telephone monopoly sales generated enormous kickbacks, while bank and industrial privatizations enriched cronies, sharing profits with the ruling elite. Brother Raul became the corruption symbol, accumulating hundreds of millions through drug cartel connections and government contracts. Raul's wealth became an international scandal, with Swiss accounts and European real estate dwarfing his official salary. The administration's drug cartel relationships represented new corruption levels. While publicly fighting drug wars, the regime secretly accommodated trafficking organizations, allowing operations for payments and political support. His corruption extended to electoral fraud and political violence. His 1988 victory was achieved through massive vote manipulation, including suspicious computer crashes as opposition candidates took leads. The corruption culminated in the 1994 economic crisis after he left office. Peso devaluation revealed how economic policy had been subordinated to personal enrichment, with billions diverted from investment into corrupt schemes. Carlos Salinas became an international pariah as investigations revealed his family's corruption scope. Jacob Zuma. State capture reached unprecedented levels when Jacob Zuma became South Africa's president in 2009, systematically looting resources and undermining post-apartheid institutions. Despite surviving numerous scandals to reach presidency, he established kleptocratic networks capturing state enterprises and diverting billions from public services. His corruption centered around the Gupta family, wealthy immigrants who became primary beneficiaries in systematic state capture. The Guptas received lucrative contracts, influenced cabinet appointments, and operated as shadow government, making key economic decisions. Their businesses received preferential treatment while funding Zuma's campaigns and lifestyle. The Encandless scandal exemplified personal corruption, using $23 million in taxpayer money, upgrading his residence with swimming pools and amphitheaters he claimed were security necessities. Investigations revealed most upgrades had no security purpose. His corruption extended throughout state enterprises, systematically looted during his presidency. Eskom Electricity Company was captured by allies who inflated contracts and diverted billions, leading to power shortages crippling the economy. The arms deal corruption involved kickbacks from weapons purchases. Despite investigations, Zuma avoided prosecution for over a decade, appointing loyalists to prosecuting authorities for protection. He was forced to resign in February 2018 following sustained pressure. His successor initiated investigations revealing state capture's scope, leading to Zuma's eventual 2021 arrest and conviction. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for similar ones and feel free to drop suggestions for the next video in the comments.